Per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. Here's another What's in Your Bag video. Today's guest star is Dennis, and without his permission, he will be the guest star of this video. Let's get started. I know everybody's asking me about Bitcoin, and it's honestly not that much to talk about. It's a lot of up and down, untradeable chop for me. So there's a lot of conflicting signals. We're just looking at this possible head and shoulders immediately. Volume isn't there. On lower time frames, it looks like an inverted head and shoulders. There's support and resistance all over this at this point, which is good and bad. If you want to know more about what I think, check out my Brave New Coin article from Friday. Yeah, it's got a few typos. That's okay. Alright, so Dennis's targets. Moving to VIA. Lots of people love the VIA coin because they love the Romano Wunderkind boy who took over in September 2016. I kind of noticed this looks very loosely like a cup and handle. There's two problems with this, three technically. The first being the duration. For the most part, cup and handles aren't years long. They were in crypto, and Bitcoin specifically, so anything's possible. But anytime you deviate from the ideal conditions, your probability should decrease accordingly. So that's one ding. The other ding is it's obviously surpassed 50% of the pullback. And the third ding is the volume, which on a years-long pattern probably won't match if it's crypto, because crypto volume is all over the place. So if it's a cup and handle, targets are pretty high, above this, definitely. It's just the measured from top to bottom upwards. I didn't put it on here. Dennis's target was 1 million. That's that vertical line, horizontal line there. If we look at the daily cloud, again, nothing too exciting. There are much more exciting alts chart-wise than Viacoin. Viacoin, I don't know how to say it. 5200 looks okay, not great. It's below the cloud. It's got a W. None of this tells me to buy it though. It's just watch it in a couple, probably weeks to see what happens. But as it stands, not really a buy for me. Yeah, like I was saying, September 8th, 2016, when Romano took over for BTC Drac as the core dev of that project. Moving to AMP. Now, this is really interesting, something I've talked about a little bit. The weekly charts for a lot of these alts aren't generally too informative, but when you're looking at stuff like this and you see just volume ramp at the bottom, that is a soft buy for me, because that says people are buying here. It's probably not going any lower, because if it would, people would just keep buying. Just psychologically, this is what I'm thinking. And it's at lows, bottom, top, just like Doge, right? Just this cycle of pump and dump over and over again. I'm sure the project's great, but their charts of pump and dump. And if we look at daily cloud and 5200, it's at the bottom of the range again, and you're seeing the little C-clamp thing going on here. Definitely not screaming a buy, but based on that weekly volume, I would definitely consider it. Moving to Decred. Decred's a really interesting coin on its own right. I did what I thought was a pretty decent article about Decred on Brave New Coin this week, so check that out. It's in a lot of older traders, as in 2013 traders, because I think it's such an interesting project. The proof of work, proof of stake hybrid model. Some people hate, proof of work and hate proof of stake, but I think it aims to please both of those parties. Anyway, the chart looks okay for up. Why? Because it's basically this flag channel pennant thing. It's clearly got a pole, measured move somewhere up here. It's in the article. You can check it out. But we're talking, I don't know, probably this 3-2 level, because there's a horizontal line there. Again, just measured move stuff, and you're seeing volume ramp as it's sitting at lows. You can also see a W here, which you can see much more clearly. On the daily, 5200 is about to cross, and you're getting an edge to edge, which the payoff isn't too big, but that could be the start of a new bull trend, especially with the 5200 cross, the golden cross on the daily. Moving to RADs. And now if I look at this chart, I look at VIA, and I look at all the other stuff, again, this is one of the least exciting charts. Looks very toppy, very head and shouldersy here. Clearly has a descending volume profile. We don't have a volume ramp like we do on those other coins. So this is definitely not a buy for me for that reason alone. It's okay momentum wise, it's at the 50. For me, when I look at oscillators, they're all the same. It's overbought up here, oversold down here, and 50 is momentum reset. And you'll notice with Bitcoin, when we're trending in a bull market, we're going to bounce in that 50 and bump up to 70, 80 constantly. So you can see we're above the 50 since the beginning of the trend started on the daily. You'll see the trend better on the daily as far as the beginning and ending. And so see some Wyckoff things a little better, I think, on the daily. But you can see clearly on the weekly, not the daily. The weekly shows RSI trending far above the 50. You know, momentum is clearly bullish. You can see when we were in bear territory, it was clearly below the 50 and couldn't really break up from there. So that's something to look for on these alts as well. When we're looking at trend shifts, I want to see several resistance confirmations at the 50 of whatever time frame makes sense. Before it flips higher for the trend shift. Red's daily chart also unexciting. You can see we're getting a 5200 death cross on the daily. Again, not a buy for me, and it's below the cloud. Just unexciting in general. I know there's a lot of like Twitter folk who really love the rads. I've been in and out of rads, not my favorite at the moment. Moving to Zcash, huge shilling out for Zcash. I skipped the target as well, or mothership. Like if it's not a trading view, people, it doesn't exist. Okay, I can't look at the chart for mothership. Again, same thing. Lots of shills. You got to watch out. Just like the patient Tory P-Toy folks, lots of shilling going on. Keep your wits about you. So Zeke, again, volume ramp at the bottom. This is what I want to see if I'm buying. This RSI is nothing less than hilarious. Never been above 30 on the weekly, aside from this. Anyway, Zeke, just hilarious. Zcash. They've got volume and supply issues, I know. Artificially deflated, or whatever you want to call it. It's got some shenanigans going on. Daily showing, very clear bull div. I was posting this on Twitter with a nice flat Kumo edge-to-edge setup coming. I think this is another soft buy scenario, scale in situation. Goes south below to make lower lows, then you cut it. But if not, you just let it ride. Minimum to this 0.1 target. Deniz's target was 0.3 to 0.5. If you ask TM3K, his target is Bitcoin parity. Yeah. Moving to a coin I'd never heard of before, ZRX. Pretty comical weekly chart. Again, this doesn't look like anything that I want to buy. If you want to just buy the lows, feel free. Not for me. It's never been above the cloud or had a bullish 5200 cross aside from this area. On the hourly, his target's 1500. That could be 3 to 6 months away. In my opinion, at least looking at this at the moment, I see nothing resembling turnaround at all. This video is sponsored by Whale Calls. Get all your Schadenfreude notifications from Whale Calls, your crypto margin call tweet leader. And that's all I have for today, guys. Like, comment, dislike, share, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter, Telegram, and happy trading.